Good morning, students. We'll start the new point. This is Module 4, Lesson 3, Money and Prices. Module 4, Lesson 3. Name of the lesson is Money and Prices. In this lesson, we have to discuss new things like first is quantity theory of money and general price level, then Fisher's equation, and neoclassical cash balances approach. These points we have to discuss. So the question can be explain the demand for money or quantity theory of money. Okay, so first of all we have to understand the meaning of the quantity theory of money and general price level. Prices are measures of the amount of money that one has to give up to obtain units of goods and services. When this micro measurement is extended to entire economy, we get the concept of general price level. The price level measures the amount of money that has to be given up to obtain a unit of average good in the economy or to obtain 1 unit of the total output. Price level is determined by supply of money and demand for money. That you all are aware, demand for money and supply of money determines the price level. The quantity theory of money was used by the economist to explain changes in general price level. They believed that quantity of money in the economy was the prime factor determining the price level. Any change in the quantity of money would bring about a change in the general price level. Now, Fisher's equation of exchange. The most significant version of the quantity theory is developed by Irving Fisher. Fisher is the name of the economist. He suggested that there is a mechanical and fixed proportional relationship between changes in the money supply and the general price level. According to Fisher's version of the theory, the general price level P is influenced by the quantity of money in circulation M, the volume of transaction in the economy T, and the velocity of the circulation of money V. So these three things you have to remember. So Fisher's equation of the exchange is MV is equal to PT. From this equation, we can derive the following: P is equal to MV upon T. The equation implies that V and T remaining constant, P changes proportionately to the change in M, that is money supply. So if money supply M is doubled, the price level P will also be doubled. In order to incorporate bank money in the theory, Fisher gave the following equation: MV plus M1 V1. M1 is the total deposit subject to transfer by checks, and V1 is the average velocity of circulation of bank money. So understand, this is P is equal to MV upon T, and MV is equal to MV plus M1 V1 is equal to PT. Now next point we will explain with the help of diagram. This theory states that price level rises proportionately with the given increase in the quantity of money. Proportionately. Conversely, the price level also falls proportionately with the given decrease in the quantity of money. In this diagram, the general price level P is represented on the x-axis. Price level is represented on the y-axis and quantity of money represented on the x-axis. M is on the x-axis, P is on the y-axis. When quantity of money is OM1, the price level is OP1. Look at here, OM1 and price level is OP1. As the quantity of money rises, to OM2, quantity of money rises from M1 to M2, the price level proportionately increases from P1 to P2. This is the increase. So P2 is the increase here and M2 is the increase in the quantity of money. On the other hand, the reduction in the quantity of money to OM3 from M1 to M3, that is the reduction as a result of fall in the price from OP1 to OP3. Line OM, this line OM, this straight line OM bisects the right angle and represents the proportionate change in P that is caused by change in M. So this is what you have to understand. There are proportionate changes in the quantity of money and the price level. The same way when the price level, quantity of money rises, the same way price level is also rising. Okay, this is what you have to understand. This theory has been criticized because of that various things, like it is based on unrealistic assumptions, conceptual inconsistencies are there, it is not applicable to the short term, it neglects the interest rate, it ignores the store value function of money, it ignores the real balance effect. This is what you have to write about the quantity theory of money. Now, the next theory is neoclassical cash balances approach. That is classical, Irving Fisher's classical, and here neoclassical. Cambridge equation. The Cambridge version of the quantity theory of money was first developed by Alfred Marshall, later modified by A.C. Pigou and D.H. Robertson. Since all these economists were from Cambridge University, their version of quantity theory of money came to be known as Cambridge version because they three are from the same university. According to the Cambridge version, people demand to hold money not only for the transaction but also because of money's function as a store of value. So, real demand for money is for transaction as well as other purposes. The community's total demand for cash balances constitutes a certain proportion of country's real national income. The proportion is represented by the letter K in the Cambridge equation. It represents the proportion or percentage of total real income that people of the country demand to hold in the form of cash balances. If we assume that in an economy, the volume of transactions are given over a period of time, then community's total demand for real cash balances may be represented by certain proportion K of the annual real national income Y. The proportion K is known as Cambridge K. The Cambridge version is represented by the following equation: MD is equal to KPY, where MD is a community's demand for money, Y is the real national output, P is the average price, K is the proportion of national output or national income that people want to hold. Let us assume that money supply M3 is determined by monetary authorities, that is MS. MS is equal to M. At full employment equilibrium, supply of money is equal to demand for money. So MS is equal to MD. Here you have to understand MS is equal to MD, or M is equal to KPY, or P is equal to M upon KY, where K and Y are independent of money supply. K is constant and is given by transaction demand for money. Y is constant at full employment. P and money supply M are directly proportional. If money supply is doubled, so will be P, and if money supply is half, P will also be half. Now the criticism on this neoclassical theory. This theory suffers from various drawbacks, such as it ignores the factors that change the price level, it does not take into account the motives for holding money, it is a static theory, it ignores linkage between price level and rate of interest, and it cannot explain the business cycle. So these are the two theories that you have to give in this quantity theory of money and general price level. Sometimes the question can be explain Fisher's equation of exchange, or it can be neoclassical or Cambridge version of cash balance approach. So both the ways question can be asked, or only single question can be asked that explain the quantity theory of money. So you have to give the entire explanation. Thank you very much.